Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to, of course, Wednesday's review. Now, if you remember, about either a month ago or so, I had reviewed this right here, which of course is, of course, this t-shirt right here, of course, was all at least given from, of course, the guy who runs this Zine anyways. Again, it was a fanzine, but again, there were some compilations. And this was the first one that I, at least I had reviewed of the ones that he, of all, at least of the splits or comps that he had sent me. So this was the first one. Finally, I pretty much have gotten around to, of course, checking out this right here, which of course again is the Soulgrinder Zine Attack Volume 3. Yes, there are 2 volumes prior to this, but this was the only cassette comp, or at least of the Soulgrinder Zine Attack comps they had sent me. So, and of course, this is also again a very recent release anyways. It was released this year as well. I think this one came out last year. So this of course was this year. And the difference between this one and this one, I mean, there's any of the bands that were featured on here are not on this cassette, so it's definitely all different bands on here, but it's twice as much as at least of amount of bands that were on here. This one had 6 bands. This one has a whopping 21 bands on here. There's a lot of bands, and again, as far as when it comes to genre variety, definitely thrash metal, death metal, and here a couple or so traditional heavy metal bands on this comp. And most of them, and especially when it comes to at least their countries and so on, it very much varies between the United States and Peru, with maybe a few from like a few from one of them I think being from Sweden, but eventually I'll get to maybe some of the you know, the countries and so on. But yeah, there's a lot of bands on here. So with that, I'm now prior to of course to me getting into my review, I'm not gonna talk about every single band on here. That's why I at least have a note right here. With all at least the bands that I have at least that did anything for me, you know, the ones that I really like that I picked out. Those are the bands that are on my notes there that I'll be talking about. So really, it's definitely in many ways we'll just shorten up some of this review instead of just making it even longer. So without further ado, to try and to prevent that, let's get right in to, of course, Soulgrinder Zine Attack Volume 3. Okay, so here we go. Now, before I get into any more of my thoughts and so on a lot of the bands on this compilation, yes, this is more of a comp than really a split. So, definitely, before I really get into any of the review, let me definitely run down all these 21 bands here. So, okay, so basically, there again, all these 21 bands. We got, of course, is Shark Bullet, with of course the song The Wolf. Concussion from the United States, with a track called Age of Intolerance. Cruel Bomb, also from the United States. Manhattan Mischief. Dissidents, I don't know, that's a bit of an odd name, I would say, for a United States band, and it's not a name I'm very familiar with, but I probably did my best. They got a track on here called Maniac. We now, of course, have a band called Ritual Moon, who are also from the United States, with a track called Uncontrollable Death. And, of course, we have now on to, of course, some of the bands from Peru here that comes after this. Necropsia with, of course, Morbid Desire. Vulture from Peru called Emulsion. Or is it Emulsion? Alright, I probably butchered that. Hyena from Peru with the track called Keep It True. Nuthammer, also from Peru with the track called Black Rain. And of course, kicking back to some, at least another band from the United States. And of course, this Silent Storm, which is Blood. Yes, my Jim Harris. And of course, after that is a band called Encryptment, I think they're calling. They're from Sweden, and the track is called Gra Utopia. Okay. Alright, then of course, from the United States is Final Judgment with the track called In Darkness. Aggression from Peru with the track called Metal Hasta Sangir. Alright. Morbid Cross from the United States with a track called Disciples of the Goat. Axtinger from Ecuador, I think they're from, with a track called Roadkiller. We then have a band called Crucifier from the United States with the track called All or Nothing. No, it's not a cover. And of course, we have Decidios. I don't know what the fuck, how to best pronounce that name. They're from Peru, and it's the track is called Pasadilla. And of course, we have a band called Sepulcro. They're also from Peru. The track is called Master of War. Then, of course, we have a band called Murder Method from the United States with a track called Casket Screams. And, of course, Father of Sin from the United States with a track called Born Again Satanist. And then, of course, Kupas, with also from Peru. And this is the very last track here they provide, and it's called Namaro. I think that's the best I could pronounce, but yeah, some of the bands are very, very kind of typical almost for me to even kind of pronounce, so in many ways I pretty much butchered some of these names, but there you go, there's all the fucking 21 tracks there, and I pretty much, I think in many ways kind of lengthened up a bit, because good lord, some of it is kind of difficult for me to fucking say. So alright, let's just get into the rest of the review here. Alright, so my thoughts. Again, for highlight tracks on this album for me, is The Wolf from Shark Bullet, which is a solid thrash groove metal track. Age of Tolerance from Concussion. This is a very cool thrash track that is backed by a vicious riff. Killer Stuff. Manhattan Mischief by Cruel Bomb. Another fine slab of furious thrash. Morbid Desires by Necropsia. A surprise, unique track that combines technical speed thrash with Black Death style vocals. It's really interesting, but it's one of my highlights on this album. It's definitely a good track. Emulsion by Vulture. This exclusive track from a female-fronted thrash metal band from Peru is quite cool. I dig it. Keep It True by Hyena, female-fronted classic metal that rips. Gonna have to check out more of these guys. And the thing is, I was always aware of Hyena, especially about the very many times I would go on to Bandcamp and basically punch in the traditional metal tag and so on there just to see what bands come up. Hyena was one of those bands that would come up, but I never really cared much to check out. Now I have to really check out more Hyena. Great track. Black Rain from Nuthammer, which is a catchy slab of metal, heavy metal hard rock from this female solo act. It's definitely a solid track with a very anthemic vibe as well to it. It's definitely got a catchy vibe. I'll have to check out more of her stuff too. Great stuff. Of course, Witch's Blood from Silent Storm. Good friends with Jim Harris, so already I've reviewed the EP anyways, so I'm not going to further comment other than say that it's a killer track and you should definitely be supporting Silent Storm. Disciples of the Goat by Morbid Cross. This is a mean and vicious slab of thrash in the vein of Dark Angel, and I definitely got quite a bit of Dark Angel vibes when listening to this track. It's definitely it's a great track. Road Killer by Extinger. This exclusive Thrasher is quite cool. Sadly, according to the Metal Archives, they are no longer active, which sucks, because this track is fucking badass. All or Nothing by Crucifier. Again, more solid thrash. And of course, then we have Pasadilla from Decidios. Again, butchered that name before, and I butchered probably again. A great death thrash in the vein of like Sarcophago and other Brazilian thrash metal bands. It's a great track. And of course, finally, my last highlight here is Master of War by Sepulchro, which is a killer slap of power thrash that at times has some really harsh style gruff vocals, almost kind of Lemmy-ish, almost very Lemmy-like. So kind of like almost if Lemmy was singing for like this, again, this very technical speed power thrash metal kind of band. It's really interesting stuff. And again, one of the few of the older bands on this one. These guys apparently go back to like the late 80s. It's a great fucking track. So, oh man, there you go. Here you go, everyone. There is my review of course, Soulgrinder Zine Attack Volume 3. And this is a solid compilation. Again, if you dig the thrash metal genres and dig even some traditional metal or just like good metal compilation albums anyways, definitely go on and find yourself a copy. I'll see what I can do on putting this at least where to kind of link you to where to actually get this, or unless you may have to do something, I don't know, maybe to get this, I don't know, but I'll do my best. I'll also put in links to, of course, most of these bands in the description box. I don't know if I'm going to be able to at least overload the description box with all these 21 bands, but I'll do my best to at least put the highlights in here. There's some great fucking bands on this comp. Some good or bad, but many ways there's some great stuff on here. And I know that a lot of the people that are subscribed to me will definitely dig some of these bands on this compilation. So again, great stuff, and I definitely recommend these bands. I definitely hope that if you dig these bands, I hope that you support them. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed. This is Every Thrashhead Sam out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone. Oh, almost forgot. Beginning next week, I will be getting back to reviewing the rest of some of the Doomsday's Today Records releases that I still have in my cassette box. So, with that, I hope all of you will be looking forward to that. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed. This is Every Thrasher Sam out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone.